your intellectual responses to the ignorance and be like, man, one day I'm going to be there, because I would rather be petty, but hopefully I can elevate to your level, Salim Muwakil.
Pettiness seems to work, though.
and with his international, intergalactic knowledge, and then attorney Kimberly Agoin, right? Attorney, she got ATTY dot Kimberly Agoin period JD and then Maze Jackson. So I would just throw the conversation out here and let's get it started. Y'all, Chicago. We are the epicenter of international news right now. Yesterday, the mayor and the superintendent held a press conference, and you know that it's off the chain when you ain't just looking at 257 and 9, but you are looking at Al Jazeera and CNN and people from all over the world like, what the hell is going on in Chicago? And there was a new tack that was taken this time. You know, usually it's, we've got a gun problem, we've got to pass the laws in Springfield. This time, it was on us. Now, I do think that there's some internal on us part of it, but I think when you are the mayor of the city of Chicago and all you got, as Jay-Z says, a gun in your face and that's all you can come up with, is this on y'all? It seemed to me that he has absolutely no solutions. Amara, start, Salim, Kim.
So first I want to say I've been waiting a long time to get into the studio with Salim. This is like a dream come true, so I'm kind of...
Hold it! All right now. Enough of that. Enough of that.
Oh, well, that's enough.
You made it happen. You made it happen, Maze. This is like the dream team. So I'm really happy, but especially to talk about this particular issue. And so for me, watching the press conference yesterday and seeing the reactions really across the board, it just reinforced the fact that, number one, there's still an unwillingness to address the root causes of violence. I think we always go for the low-hanging fruit, which is to talk about policing, or in this case, to push it back on communities. And number two is that we haven't addressed this issue largely because it does not fit neatly within the next press cycle or the next election cycle. And if we were, in fact, interested in getting to the root of it, we would actually start to address all of the things that allow for someone to have the mentality to kill. That is many different areas of public policy that we have not done. And so yesterday, I think we saw a person who has no solutions or who is unwilling to implement solutions because they are not politically expedient or politically convenient.
Okay. Now, to the philosopher.
Well, I think it's kind of ironic, man, that this press conference would happen right after the march on LSD and the previous weeks on the Dan Ryan. The point being to raise the specter of what this violence is doing to the city, not just to the black community, but to make everyone have a stake in it, and then to have the mayor come and point it in exactly the opposite direction, and in fact even say something very, very inflammatory, saying that too many people with records out here on the street. That was a strange thing to say, and so that points the gun in the opposite direction that the protests were hoping to convince people to begin to understand, and we can see that protests just didn't do the job that it was supposed to do.
Kimberly?
Well, the one thing that stood out for me is him talking about the lack of morals. He wants to talk about the morals of the African American community, which to me is I don't know if it's ironic, I don't know if I'm using the proper word, Salim, but considering the way this administration has been run, where nothing is running properly. You've got children being molested in schools. You've got everything that could possibly happen that's dysfunctional happening under this administration. There is a complete loss of control, but the one thing that I do feel better about was the community is not taking the blame on its shoulders the way in which they want to set the blame. There was pushback saying, no, there needs to be more leadership from your end. You're the administration. We need some more leadership from your end in addressing the same issues that Amara was just discussing.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, like that's something I'm not familiar with, right? But at a certain point, right? At a certain point, because we were talking about this yesterday, Kim. I think that we keep looking for a Calvary. We keep looking for this Calvary to come, whether it comes in the face of police, policy, practitioner, that someone is going to be like, whoa, we got to stop what's happening in the black community. Like when we march on Lakeshore Drive hoping that we spread the pain, it's like we're not really spreading the pain. And it's like, in my estimation, they know what's going on over there. And as long as it stays with you, that's not our issue. Y'all, what role do we have in saving ourselves? And without casting blame, but like literally having people and saying like, y'all, if you know they want you to kill each other, and it's the plan, and then you say, hey, y'all, we killing each other, they like, good, it's working. How do we start to bring accountability back to ourselves?
We talked about this last week. We had a couple of individuals in here. We had Taji Gaines from New Era Chicago. We had Marquin McDonald.
You know what? I'm looking at my clock. Can I pause you right there? Ladies and gentlemen, we got to go to traffic and weather, but when we come back, Amara will come back talking about what role do we have in our own accountability and saving ourselves. Talk Chicago 1690.
More of the morning show with Maze Jackson coming up on the Talk of Chicago 1690 WVON.